Just remember, Islamic socialism. This is why you see the left coming to the aid of the Islamic fascists. Because they're cool with socialism. Okay, sure, but they're not actually going to behead us. We're their friends. No, you're not. It goes back to the theory that has caused all of the problems for the United States. It's what got us into this mess now here in America with Egypt. We shouldn't have been supporting Hosni Mubarak ever. He's a brutal, awful dictator that did horrible, horrible things with our money. Why do you think they hate us? Of course they hate us. What do we stand for? It comes from the theory, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that is a lie. But that's what the left is using. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They're all using chaos as an opportunity. They don't agree on the end goal, a caliphate or communism or globalization. They don't. But they'll cross that bridge when they get there. May I quote the Wall Street Journal from today? Quote, even before last month's popular ouster of Tunisia's president electrified protesters in Egypt and across the Middle East, these people held dozens of meetings lasting more than 100 hours. They created a 100-member shadow legislature of union leaders, judges, representatives from youth parties, and the country's banned but influential Muslim Brotherhood, say the people in attendance. That is weird. What did they call that again? Tiffany, what did they call that? A shadow
party.
Shadow
government.
Shadow government. Oh, this is the shadow party. This is the book that we showed you. Remember the puppet show we did? It's a shadow party. This is shadow government. Shadow. And remember Ariana Huffington? Remember when she had the shadow party conventions? Isn't this weird how it all... Islamic socialism. Kind of sounds newfangled. We should check into it. Maybe it's something we want to do. I told you trouble was coming in Europe. You should read this. It is one of the most evil books I've ever read. In fact, I was getting my makeup on. Believe it or not, I look worse on TV without makeup. Hard to believe, I know. But bunch of us girls were talking. And one of them said, Glenn, for the first time I watch TV and I feel evil. Yeah, there is evil of what's going on there. Yeah. It's called the coming insurrection. I've been mocked about warning about it, and I'm still mocked about it. I don't really care. I mean, I'm starting to feel like Davy Crockett. You can all go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Really, I don't care. Learn it, don't learn it, it's up to you. Report after report after report after report talks about how the unrest is spreading everywhere. But no one's looking into who's pouring the fuel on the fire. I don't know. The blueprint is here. The blueprint is here. But people continue to live in a fantasy land that, oh, people are upset. They're hungry. He's a brutal dictator. Yes. But those conditions now are being used. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And if you can turn the heat up, why not? Let me go to the playbook written by Frances Fox Piven. You know, Grandma, as I like to call her. She's knitting, and she's also writing recently for The Nation. Quote, the out of work have to stop blaming themselves for the hard times and turn their anger on their bosses, the bureaucrats or the politicians who are in fact responsible. Now they want you to believe that after people in Europe or in Egypt have been living under a miserable dictator who's raped and murdered their family members for 30 years, out of the clear blue sky, Egyptians suddenly woke up and say, you know what? Things are especially crappy today here, honey. I think I'm going to go out and riot. And I'm thinking about socialism and social justice as well. Really? Those who want a caliphate and those who want communism or a new world order, they all need the same thing first: unrest and chaos. This is unmistakably planned. If you want to cause global chaos, what is the first place you set it? I mean, do you start it in San Francisco? No. You start it in the Middle East. If you need people to be hungry and you need economies to collapse, you start it in the Middle East. Now, How's this going for you at the Daily Beast? You got this theory down? Okay, good. Let's just take it from here. Let's start to look at Code Pink, because here are the goals. Remember, the Muslim Brotherhood goal is to destroy Israel and kill all the Jews. Hamas's goal is to destroy Israel and kill all the Jews. I'm sensing a pattern here. But now Code Pink, Women for Peace, you know, their goal is democracy and peace. If I were on Sesame Street, I'd say to you, kids, one of these things just doesn't belong. So they're for democracy and peace, so they just must be cuddly. Here they are protesting last weekend in Palm Springs, California.
What do you mean by revolution? Revolution! You know what I mean by revolution. What's happening now in Egypt. Same thing needs to happen here.
Okay, this is the beginning of it. Oh, wait until you hear about the violent rhetoric. Wait till you hear what they want to do with me and everybody here at Fox News. Oh, yes. Violent rhetoric. Let's just take a look at quick history of Code Pink. They were instrumental in organizing the Freedom Flotilla that provoked a deadly confrontation with Israeli commandos. Remember that one? Oh, that was Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas in that one. They turned up on the Muslim Brotherhood's website. Here's their website. Do you have the ad? Yeah. Oh, here it is. And here's Code Pink. Here they are in Egypt. They're all worried about violence. You know, when they organized the flotilla. Quote, Hamas has pledged to ensure our safety. That's Code Pink. Hamas has pledged to ensure. Whoa, that's great. So they're working with the Muslim Brotherhood. They're in Egypt now, and they dig in Hamas. Muslim Brotherhood in recent days has promised to end the peace treaty with Israel. If they gain power, they told followers to prepare for war with all Jews. Planet Earth. I find myself in an exceptionally humbling position. That for the first time in mankind, one man can stand in quite honestly, a dumpy little studio in New York City, and his voice can be heard all around the world. Hear me carefully. Humans, we made a promise to each other, didn't we? To never forget. It is at this point in a monologue I could just say Hamas and Code Pink and those on the left are just anti-Semites. I could question their motives about policies. I could connect them to the White House. I'm not saying any of this now. What I am saying to you is we have all the conditions for millions of dead if we don't calmly and rationally fix reason firmly in her seat. This is pretty important, don't you think? Look at the cold, hard facts. These people are calling for the destruction of Israel and the killing of all Jews. They have a pretty good track record of doing those things. These guys, the same. And then you have the left in bed with them. And they're not the only one. We'll show you more. And no one's concerned? Do I need to remind anyone what happened to the Jews in communist Russia or Poland? Do I need to remind anyone but Helen Thomas what happened to the Jews when communist and Islamic fascists get involved? Last night, I don't know what you were doing at 3:30 in the morning, but I was up reading. I'm going to show you what I found last night, and you will not believe you've never heard of this.